You know what, Mr. McKelvey, I'm a young man, I'm 22 years old, and I'm driving through downtown Youngstown right now, and I'm just looking how deteriorated it is, and I'm thinking to myself, you're on here playing. How many pensions are you getting, Mr. McKelvey, from the city, the school board, when you were treasurer? You were nothing but a puppet for the Cafarros and the Burtles, and you're living off the taxpayers, buddy. You're living off the taxpayers! You're a punk! You're a punk! You're a punk, McKelvey!
Catfishers. Hello, good.
Hi, Dan. How are you today?
Hey, I'm well. So talking about John Kerry, kind of misplaced.
Oh, well, talking about John Kerry, let's get to the point here, Dan. The guy was in Skull and Bones. He's an Illuminati hack. He's owned by the foreign bankers, and nothing's going to change, Dan, until we can take the money power away from the Federal Reserve. Dan, this new budget that passed, we just keep borrowing more and more money with debt on it, and we just keep putting this country in more debt. Why can't we just print our own money, interest-free, and take the money powers out of the Jewish Zionist bankers' hands, the Rothschilds? And why aren't you bringing this point up, Dan? Are you owned by the corporate globalist media, Dan? Are you a puppet for Clear Channel? Is that who you are? You're just a little puppet boy, aren't you, Dan?
I don't know. Maybe there's going to be a change. But if you're going to go back and you're going to print your own money...
Hi, Ron. How are you?
I'm good.
Actually, it's Scottie. I must have had the wrong name there and put there. But anyway,
okay,
you know what?
You're a liar. You lied to John.
Hey, you know what, Ron? Are you familiar with this debt ceiling that was going on the other week?
Yes,
All right,
Scottie.
Well, I just wanted to clarify something with a lot of your viewers. First off, we shouldn't even have a debt ceiling, and our government shouldn't have to borrow money from any private corporation called the Federal Reserve. Our government should just be able to print that money interest-free. Why are we even borrowing money with interest on it from the private Federal Reserve? Why?
How about, here's one for you, Scottie. How about we cut out all the bull crap that we waste money on and actually live within our means?
Well, why do we have to borrow money with interest from a private corporation?
Right. Well, I'm with you on that. I'm just saying I think we waste so much money. There's so much... listen, Scottie.
Yeah.
This country... this political system is so corrupted.
I'm glad you see that, Ron. I'm glad you see that.
Well, it is, but it's damn near impossible to fix. It's so influenced by money and lobbyists and special interest and basically career politicians that you just can't fix it.
Well, all the look at Youngstown, all the manufacturing's on. We don't have any manufacturing in this country anymore.
Well, yes, we do. We're making pipe out there at Vietnam Star all the time.
Oh,
we're making cars out of Lordstown. Scottie, get your head behind.
The Illuminati runs America, Ron. The Illuminati runs America.
Out here, Whirlpool and that kind of stuff. Hey,
Ron.
The Illuminati.
The Illuminati has you, Ron. Ron, are you an agent of the Illuminati, Ron?
Yes, I'm a special agent of the...
You know what, can I bring one point up with you, Ron? Sam Marone, are you familiar with the current mayor of Youngstown, Sam Marone? He's going to get a $75,000 a year pension the rest of his life. Is that fair? No. And he's going to be getting a pension from the school board. While young kids like me are scraping at the bottom of the bill. There's too much bureaucracy in this town, Ron. We need it cleaned up. And you know what? If I had nothing better to do, I would run.
All right, thank you, Scottie. Johnson.
Hi, Mr. Johnson. How are you? First off, Mr. Johnson, I just wanted to point out we shouldn't be in any of these Middle Eastern foreign countries. All of these wars are making money for the military-industrial complex and the central bankers who fund both sides. We both know that our military boys in Afghanistan are guarding poppy plants, which the CIA are bringing back into America. They're distributing all the drugs in this country. These wars are a joke. They're not defending freedom. Anybody with a brain knows that you don't spread democracy by dropping bombs on innocent people. Did you guys just see how Obama just droned 15 innocent people going to a wedding in Yemen? Why hasn't Obama been accounted for these war crimes?
Something interesting is that why whenever they make these reports about it, why is it these drones always hit these wedding parties? Something fishy going on there.
You know why, Viking?
It could be a group of Taliban head honchos, but if we blow them up, all of a sudden it's a wedding party.
Oh, first off, we're funding the Taliban. We're funding Al Qaeda. We're funding them in Syria right now. We need the terrorist bill. The CIA creates the terrorists.
Yeah, Frank, okay, it's not a monologue. Throwing this one in here, just to get with the current thing, I'm looking on the screen here. It says, we are sending arms to help Iraq battle violence. Those people have been battling, they've been violent for, centuries. And, I don't think we're ever going to really stop it.
I'd agree with Frank on this. We need to get the hell out of there.
Yeah, right. I mean, well, we did, but why are we sending stuff back?
I'll tell you guys right now why the Iraq War started. It's because Saddam Hussein didn't want to accept the American dollar for oil anymore. He didn't want to take the petrodollar. He wanted gold in return for the oil. And look at what we did with Gaddafi in Libya. We took out Gaddafi because he didn't want to accept the American dollar in return for oil anymore. The central bankers are always playing both sides. And you know what, Viking Jim? It's the Rothschilds. Are you familiar with the Rothschilds, Bill? It's the Rothschild Jew central bankers that have control of the world's money. How are you today?
I'm well, sir. Go ahead.
Ron, I was doing some research. America has over 600,000 homeless Americans living in homeless, and 80,000 of those 600,000 are veterans. Cities like Detroit are $18 billion in debt.
How did you come up with Greg and Austin Town?
Well, I just feel like I'm blacklisted from the station because of my viewpoint, so I feel like I have to use fake names.
What would make you feel as though you're blacklisted? Because you call in and you say just ridiculous things.
Well, Ron, here's what I think. Before we cut funding for homeless,
you clearly aren't. You're just unusual. You're unique, is how we would define you. You're very unique.
All right, Ron. Well, I just wanted to tell you something. Before we cut funding for food stamps and all this I agree with you, Ron. People are mooching off the system, and it's not right. But before we even get into cutting any of those welfare systems, I think we have to talk about the $3 to $4 billion we're giving Israel every year, and off the books, according to Jim Trafficant, 8 to 12.
Most people agree that we should stop foreign aid. Period. Okay, so you got a country that's trillions of dollars in debt. Most people don't think we should be doing any foreign aid because we can't afford it. Okay, case closed.
And this was Jim Trafficant. Jim Trafficant brought that up numerous times about the Zionist lobby. Hi, Mr.
Thanks for hanging on.
Oh, anytime, Mr. Johnson. We're talking about taxes here and wasteful spending. I just wanted to bring it more on a local level. The current Youngstown mayor, Mr. Johnson, Charles P. Samaround, he's going to be looking forward to an estimated lifetime pension of about $3,551,000. And why isn't this being talked about in our community? What in the hell does this guy deserve $3 million for sitting on his can, not even getting any new industry or business in the Youngstown? And the same thing's going to happen with McNally. They're errand boys for the Cafiles and the Bartlows, and they're not going to change nothing. What's going on here? Why isn't this being talked about? Is WKBN owned by the corporate media here that protects these mafia families that still are raping Youngstown, Bill?
It's not just that. I mean, and it's not just local. I appreciate your saying it. I don't know if somebody's an errand boy for the Cafiles.
Well, John, are you aware of Wendy Webb? Wendy Webb's going to be getting an $82,000 pension a year. And that for the rest of her life, that amounts up to $4,288,000. Wendy Webb is a Youngstown government teacher. Now, what does she deserve almost $4 million for? This is wasteful spending, and I'm telling you right now, Bill, I'm going to run for mayor in the next 2 years, and I'm going to clean house, and stuff's going to change, and taxpayers are going to get their money. It's not going to go to these little bureaucrats anymore. And you know what, Bill? My real name isn't Charles. It's Scott. My name's Scott. My name's Scott.
I think, the problem is even bigger than that, because what you're talking about with all of these people is the structure of public pensions.
Well, let's cut the pensions, Bill. Let's cut the pensions.
Let me finish. What I'm getting at is that what happened to Detroit is set to happen in a lot of other places, and they're talking about even the entire state of Illinois, where they do not have anywhere near the finances or the cash flow to basically pay the commitments they have with the pensions that are out there. And you're right, you bring up just some very large ones. But You think it's just them?
Oh, it's not just them, but that's a starting point, Bill. That's a starting point. So let's cut these pensions. Let's clean out these bureaucrats who aren't changing or innovating Youngstown. And you know, Bill, another thing is, if I was mayor, I'd cold call. I would give away all this property. I'd give it out tax exempt and just tell businesses, come into Youngstown, we'll give you free property, and you can free taxes for 10, 20 years. Why isn't this being done?
Charles, are you prepared to have a giant fight with the NEA? That's the Education Association, the SEI.
I am prepared for that. I am prepared for that. And you know what? Hey, Bill, my uncle ran for mayor of Youngstown back in the 70s, Bob Spencer. I'm going to continue what he stopped. You know, the mafia blew up his car, and nothing's changed.
Holy smoke.
Yeah. And, I tried calling up Mr. McKelvey the other week, and I brought this up. He just hung up on me. It's easy for him just to hang up on people. I drive through Youngstown every day and see the people that are homeless, the black community that has nothing. He gets to play every Saturday morning or every weekend, every weekday, and have his little radio gig and collect his probably $3 million.
I'm not going to vilify Goerge McKelvey.
You know what?
I think, by the way, anybody that has any office like that, I'll tell you what, that phone never really stops. If you think they're just sitting on their can, you're dreaming.
I want to ask you another question, Bill.
I don't want to get all the phone calls they get.
Well, here's another thing. Why has George Trafficant been shunned by the community of Youngstown, Bill?
Jim?
Yeah, Jim Trafficant. Why has he been shunned? Is it because he took on the Zionist movement? Is it because he wasn't kissing the Jews' ass? Is that why? Come on.
A little bit off the,
no, he didn't go off. He was against the Federal Reserve. Hey, Bill, every person that calls doesn't understand that the Federal... Yeah, hang on. Oh, 280-9477.
Good morning, Ted.
Oh, hi, Mr. McKelvey. I just wanted to bring up, how many people died in the Iraq War that you supported when you backed Bush, you stinking puppet? Hi, Mr. McKelvey. Now, I'm not going to yell at you today, but will you answer me, how many pensions are you getting, and what are they worth? How many pensions are you getting?
You're asking questions. Now, wait a minute. I have 8 pensions.
You have 8 pensions, and did you ever work outside the public sector? Your daddy... Oh, okay. Where did you work outside the public sector?
Jack,